welcome to Hoogerheide for the men's World Cup cyclocross. This is the final round of the season. And as we look across the course, the rain's certainly staying off, but very, very muddy indeed. As you can see, everyone's around about the course. The frites are flowing as always. 3,000 meters is the course. Some on road, 13% of it, 73% on meadowland and 14% through that forest area. We have the steps, which are always going to come into play as far as later on in the race is concerned, when those legs are really burning. A massive crowd here. 7 degrees centigrade, 20 kilometers an hour is the wind blowing across the course, and a very bitter cold wind as well. It's certainly not very warm here at all in the Netherlands. Well, here's the World Cup standings. Wout van Aert is the leader after Linier Omberi, 406 points, ahead of Lars van der Haar, 385. So this series is definitely not over yet. Kevin Pauwels, the winner last season, in 3rd place. The start list then of 76 riders who will take to the start of this World Cup. Mathieu van der Poel, the leader there, wearing number 1. Well, the leader of the list, the world champion, always wears number 1 in cyclocross. The leader of the World Cup, of course, Wout van Aert. Sven Nys there wearing number 11. Julian Taaramakats of Switzerland has been riding well this season, wearing number 26. There's the American team: Jeremy Powers, Stephen Hyde, Travers Livermont, Alan Krugoff and Jeremy Durran. Nice to see Jeremy riding this World Cup. There's the Canadian squad then. We'll update as much as we can as to where all these riders are. Philip Valsleben's had a very quiet season, the German rider. Francis Moret likes the mud, number 58 there. And we work our way through. 2 Japanese representatives, Yu Takenuchi and Hikari Hokozaka, and 2 Australian riders as well. We'll have more nationalities represented in the World Championships, of course. I'm here in Even Ireland, fielding a couple of riders in the under-23s. Here's our previous winners. Mathieu van der Poel, the winner here in 2015. Stybar won here when it was the World Championships in 2014. And Niels Albert had a long run of wins. Sven Nys, of course, has won here 3 occasions: 2007, 2005 and 2003. And the coats being handed across. Powers getting ready for racing. Alongside him, Mathieu van der Poel, the world champion. Been warming up for a long time. There's Wout van Aert, the Belgian rider who leads this World Cup. Lars van der Haar, the European champion. Kevin Pauwels in his new Marlux kit. And there is Sven Nys. Final season for him. Well, we should just mention, of course, as we look across to Laurens Sweeck, getting himself ready. The riders have 30 seconds to go. Tom Meusen of Telenet Fadea. One of the riders, of course, in the front line there is Lars van der Haar of Giant Alpecin. And we must just quickly say, before we get this race underway, our thoughts of those of us who work very closely with these athletes, and, of course, all the fans. Our thoughts go to all the Giant Alpecin riders who were injured yesterday in that terrible accident while they were out training for the new season in Calpe. The race underway then, and the power goes on. Oh, Jeremy Powers almost hit the barriers there on the right-hand side as he was closed in there on by the rest of the riders. That was very, very close. And the sprint is absolutely flat out. Laurens Sweeck, shoulder to shoulder with Wout van Aert alongside him. The screech of brakes. Look at this. Watch Powers there on the left-hand side as he gets going. He got a good start, but Wout van Aert and Van der Poel lent on each other, and Powers almost ended up in that little gap in the railings there along the side of the track. into the pits as Laurens Sweeck looks around to see Tom Meeuwsen just behind him. Had a good chat to Meeuwsen before the start. I think he's starting to look pretty good. He said this course doesn't suit him. It's not going to suit his specialities. He said he's obviously had, because of last season, mentally very, very tough time. But he also said they went and did a Boulder training camp a little while ago, and it didn't work for him at all and didn't work for the elite riders. But all the under-23 riders who didn't go on the training camp are absolutely flying. So he's hoping that the training that he has been doing will now pay off for the World Championships in Zolder. Flat out down through this little section here. There's Ian Field of the Hargroves Cycles in the red and yellow. We've been used to seeing him in the Great Britain colours. But this time he lost that title to Liam Colleen, a very, very good mountain biker. And so we'll pick Ian out in the colours of his trade team. So if you've not seen cyclocross before, let's just take a look at the front of the field. It's Gianni Vermeersch in the blue and white who is leading. There's Sven Nys on the luminous bike, easy to pick out. The most prolific winner in this field, and perhaps one of the most prolific winners ever in cyclocross. Vermeersch there in the blue and white. Behind him is the world champion in the rainbow bands, Mathieu van der Poel. Wout van Aert in the white as the World Cup leader. Number 59 there, the Cofidis rider, Clement Venturini, who is going very, very well. Lars van der Haar has not had the best of starts and is quite a way back wearing number 2. Well, thank you very much to all of you who have tweeted me today. Please send me any messages on @AntMcCrossan if you would like to. Wout van Aert working his way up that little climb. There's Lars van der Haar in the blue as the European champion. Things will stretch out a little bit, but Vermeersch looking good at the start of the race. Mathieu van der Poel, had a good chat to him before the race start as well, the world champion. He's got very, very low pressure in his tyres today. He said he's just done 3 big, big training days, and he's a little bit unsure about how his legs are going to be today. But bearing in mind, he's just won Namur, Zolder and Lignières-en-Berry. Since he came back from that little knee operation, Van der Poel has been the dominant force in cyclocross. Wout van Aert, what a season for him. He's finished second in Valkenburg, second in Koksijde, second in Namur, second in Lignières-en-Berry. Consistently second right now in terms of the World Cup. And Van der Poel comes back in after the early season. He missed the first 2 rounds, and then he's just been on form ever since. In fact, this season, Van der Poel, the lowest he's been is 3rd place in a World Cup cyclocross. If you're trying to pick out Kevin Powles, bear in mind he has changed the colour of his kit, so it's now blue and white. He now rides with a new sponsor of Marlux, the same team there as Gianni Vermeersch, who now leads this race. Vermeersch followed by Laurens Sweeck. He likes this course, he told me before the race starts. So he's the rider in the red, white and blue. Number 13 up towards the front is Tom Meeuwsen. He's doing all right so far. Sven Nys still there. Lovely shot here on the high camera to give us an idea of just the distance between the riders, how far away they are. Onto the little windy section now. And Vermeersch riding very comfortably as Mathieu van der Poel now goes to the front to try and stretch the race a little bit. Well, you notice Van der Poel not riding his camouflage bike or this camouflage World Championship bike either. So he's now on another bike which is got the orange touches on it. Big acceleration there from Van der Poel at the front. Just trying to bring this race a little bit more difficult if he can. Wout van Aert sitting fourth. He's unable to go with his tempo right now. So Van Aert can lose this World Cup. There's 21 points between him and Van der Haar, but so far Van der Haar doesn't seem to be figuring. There's 80 points for a win here. 70 for second, 65 for third, 60 for fourth, 55 for fifth. So Van Aert would need to come fifth if Lars van der Haar won this race. So right now that is not looking too likely as Van der Poel goes pedalling through the little section there. Bearing in mind this is the Grand Prix Adrie van der Poel. It's his local area, local race, his dad's race, and therefore it's pretty much like training in your own back garden. Van der Poel onto the steps. Yeah, Jason Keane, or a quick question on how come Liam Killeen is not here at the World Cup. Good question. I think he will ride the World Championships, though. Maybe prefers to keep the form going and just ride the Worlds. A lot of love for Mark McConnell today on Twitter, wishing him lots of luck in this race. And Cameron Beard thinking that if Van der Poel rode the camouflage bike, we won't see him on camera in the forest. Well, the gap is opened, and Wout van Aert is the rider in second who's trying to come back to Mathieu van der Poel, who is absolutely ripping it up the climb to end the first lap. Looking so strong right now. Looking really, really strong now as he pedals towards the line to complete lap number 1. 8 minutes and 31 seconds for the entire lap, including the run-in, and 8:11, 22.36 kilometers an hour, 8:11 for the opening lap itself. That's very, very impressive. Into the pits area then. And looks like Laurens Sweeck has decided not to go into the pits. Going to try it for a little while longer. Laurens Sweeck coming around the corner. He's looked good in some of these races, but he's not got himself on the podium so far this season, as Van der Poel shows us just how technically incredible he is on some of these corners. He just leans the bike right over, takes the foot out, skids it round. Oh, and that was how not quite to do it. Well, Van Aert right on the limit. Let's take a little look here. He comes downhill and leans the bike over, has to get the foot out of the pedals quick and right himself and get back in the action. Van der Poel keeping right over there at the feet of the barriers. A huge hospitality area here in Hoogerheide. As you can see all the way down the entire length of that straight. That is all hospitality in there. It's absolutely incredible how many people come out to this race. A lovely place to come to a cyclocross. Everything is very compact in terms of getting around. So it's Sweeck, Van Aert and Kevin Pauwels, who are the three riders tussling a little bit for the second place overall. Tom Moosen says to me that he doesn't think this race suits him, but so far he's doing okay. He's sitting up there in about 5th place so far. Well, Van der Poel has one more week to hone his form, ready for the World Championships. Be a big question as to whether he can hold this form until then. Some of the riders are expecting that Van der Poel and Van Aert will go shoulder to shoulder all the time, and they're hoping to kind of try and play off that if they can. So see whether Van Aert and Van der Poel almost nullify each other's chances. Well, Van Aert with the bike on the shoulder now. Van der Poel round the corner, just skidding that bike. He's just so good on a cyclocross bike. He doesn't mind the bike slipping and sliding around. He likes to kick it a little bit so he gets a little bit more traction. And that's what's just giving him the speed to go round these corners. And then because he's got the speed, when he gets onto these little tough climbs, he's not having to use as much energy as the riders who are chasing. Oh, wow, Van Aert not liking this course as much as he does some others. Sven Nys just keeping focus, just riding his own race. And a problem there for, oops, going broadside into Sven Nys was Tom Merlier. And Nys just checking the handlebars, making sure everything goes okay as Sweeck comes back out of the pits. Kevin Powell's another consistent ride up here, but Van der Poel is head and shoulders above everybody in World Cyclocross right now. He is just riding away from the entire field. Even when Wout van Aert and Powell and everyone are trying to close the gap and race back, it's not really happening right now. But Tom Moosen will be very happy if he can stay here and then challenge for a podium position at the end of today's race. Just noted Clement Venturini in the colours of Cofidis. Not having as good a day as he had last time in Zolder. But Wout van Aert with that familiar style, just keeping the head down, just trying to increase the work rate as much as he possibly can. Van der Poel just lifting those knees, kicking on very well indeed. And now Wout van Aert is starting to open up a bit of an advantage on the rest of the field. Van der Poel wearing the rainbow bands as the world champion. Can he hold on to them, get back-to-back victories in world championships? That would be very, very impressive. Last rider to win races back-to-back at the World Championships was Zdeněk Štýbar. So he would be emulating a fantastic bike rider if he could win the World Championship yet again. You then have to go back to Bart Wellens back in 03-04, Mario de Klerk in 98-99. And it's a long time before that where we see back-to-back victories. And we have to go all the way back to 1984 and Roland Le Breton, who won in the Netherlands and in Birmingham in Great Britain. 7 seconds was the advantage at the end of the last lap, so we'll see this time what the advantage is. Here comes our leader yet again as he makes his way up the climb. So 7 seconds it was, it's going to be a lot more this time. You can see these riders are still on the muddy section. Van der Poel, meanwhile, with 6 laps to go, is out of the saddle and sprinting. Crosses the line there. A very, very fast lap. That was an 8:11 lap again, exactly the same as the lap before. 22.36 kilometers an hour as he goes into the pits. Into the pits for Wout van Aert. Good question by Tobin Ortenblad. How do the riders get in and out of their pedals so quickly if they're riding toe clips? They've actually got little, they're not riding toe clips, they've got little plates on the bottom of their shoes. And the riders ride different ones depending on their sponsor, but basically they clip in, they clip out like a little bit like a ski binding. Not so much, but pretty close. So you step in and then you twist your heels right or left for them to come out. Well, Mathieu van der Poel has got 6 laps of racing to go, and right now he is way ahead of the rest of the competition. Sweeck looking back to see whether there's anybody with him. Kevin Pauwels in the blue and Sven Nys making up that little trio. Of course, when you look through the World Championship wins, Adrie van der Poel was the winner of the World Championship in 1996 in Montreux. But he certainly didn't manage to win any more world titles. Bart Wellens, of course, won 2 world titles, so 3 and 04, back-to-back. So Van der Poel is looking to put himself next weekend into position as one of the legends of the sport already, despite his young age. Zdeněk Štýbar has won the race, of course, on 3 different occasions, 2014, 11 and 2010. And Lars Boom's won, of course, as well in 2008 in Treviso in Italy. Van der Poel over the crest of that little climb. I talked to Nikki Harris after her podium position earlier. She said it's really very, very hard out here, and after you go up over those steps, you get this really dead kind of surface to ride on, so it's so hard. She was very pleased with her 3rd place in the World Cup, though. She didn't expect to finish on the podium, so it made a big difference to her. Today, finishing on the podium of the actual event, but finishing on the podium of the World Cup, which is a reflection of your hard work for the whole season. Wout van Aert not really making an impact yet on the lead of this man, Mathieu van der Poel. You glance all the way across this area, you can see all the people lined out around the barriers as Van Aert kind of slips a little bit, making his way around that corner. But he's still looking strong. He looks very in control. You can see Van der Poel on the other side of the course, but it's a big ask right now to try and come back to him. Here's the trio behind. Laurens Sviek in the red, white and blue, Meeusen in the colours of Telenet, which is the yellow and green, and at the back Kevin Pauwels of his Marlux team in the blue and white. Van Aert has a very interesting style on the bike, doesn't he? He has his head right down. I guess that does reduce a little bit of the drag, the frontal area. But Van der Poel has a much more traditional bobbing style compared to the likes of Van Aert, who we're looking at here now. He's got the Belgian colours of Belgian champion on his helmet. These riders coming onto a little bit more hefty road that they can ride hard on. As Van der Poel is able to go into this single track area, pick his line and just work his way all across. Makes it look very, very simple. Number 17 there on the front is Toon Aerts. Behind him is, of course, the great Sven Nys. Well, I'm pleased that everyone outside this commentary box window is not getting wet now. It's just a grey afternoon in the Netherlands as Van der Poel hits the steps for the next time. So whilst Van der Poel works his way across the top of the climb on that dead kind of feeling sand and grit, Van Aert has literally just come across the top of the climb. But will he find it as difficult as other riders have found it? Maybe, maybe not. Sven Nys going a couple at a time. Up the steps there is Kevin Pauwels, no, not Kevin Pauwels, and Turnhout. As our leader heads now towards the completion of 3 laps of racing. He has 5 laps of racing to go. Starting to get warm, he's shedding the gloves. He must be working at a very, very high rate. 5 laps to go, and the lap time, that time was 25:01. We'll get a time check now between Van der Poel and Van Aert. Van Aert then 25 seconds down. The next group of riders coming up, Laurens Sviek, Tom Meeusen, and just behind them, Kevin Pauwels coming back on terms with those riders. A clean bike then for Wout van Aert as Sviek goes across the line this time. Van der Poel's getting a little bit warm in there with the work rate, so he's undoing his skin suit. Shows how hard this guy is working. What is it possible to say about Van der Poel as a bike rider? He's so talented, a great bike handler. Must admit, when you talk to him, he knows exactly the right things to say already. Not too media trained, but certainly media trained. And he's going to be an asset to any team who take him, bearing in mind the background of his father, the amount of training he would have done, and Van der Poel, without doubt, is looking like an exceptionally good cyclocross rider. But as we know, you're able to switch your attention. The likes of Stybar have done it and can be one of the top road riders too. So just a few updates then. The top 9 places are pretty much taken up, apart from the leader, by Belgian riders. And then thereafter, in terms of other nationalities, the Czech Republic rider Michael Boros is 16th overall. Clement Venturini not enjoying today as much as he did a couple of times ago. The French rider 18th overall in the current situation. First Swiss rider Simon Zahner, who is right now lying 25th. The first British rider Ian Field lying 28th. And then we go a little bit further down. Stephen Hyde, the first American rider, is in 36th. Jeremy Powers in 37th. And then the other riders we'll update on in a little while. There's some big gaps opening up in this field right now as Van der Poel goes round that corner, makes it look very, very simple. Van Aert just trying to right himself as he made his way round that corner. It will be very interesting to see when we get to the World Championships whether Van der Poel is able to dominate the World Championships in the same way that he's been able to dominate this World Cup over the last few weeks. But the crowd, as they go through the hospitality area, are cheering this young rider on. He gave up being an under-23 rider because he wanted to ride the big races. He wanted to be in front of a big crowd. He didn't feel like he was given the option to be able to do that as an under-23, but today he's looking so strong. That jib camera giving us a fantastic shot right above the track. So turn our attention to the World Championships then. Of course, last year it was Van der Poel, the winner, followed by Wout van Aert, and Lars van der Haar was in third place. Before that, Stybar, Sven Nys and Kevin Pauws. Sven Nys won in 2013 against Klaas van Ternouth and Lars van der Haar. In terms of the World Championships, then you would say on this form that Mathieu van der Poel is going to be extremely hard to beat. You wonder whether Wout van Aert is in a big, heavy training block and he's going to come off the back of it and then taper everything for next weekend. And that is possible that he is on maximum overload he possibly can be, which would give him very, very good form if he does manage to recover in time next weekend. He's certainly looking good. He almost looks like he's measuring that effort a little bit. Tom Mayusen doing a good ride today in third place, followed by Laurens Sweeck in the red, white and blue colours, and Kevin Powles just behind, unable to contribute to the pacemaking at this moment in time, just desperately trying to stay on the wheel of Laurens Sweeck. Van der Poel hits the steps yet again. Just bounding his way up there. It doesn't make it look very difficult at all. Notice the way that Van der Poel just keeps the momentum going, constantly just gripping the bars and really rocking back and forward, side to side, just trying to find any little way that he can keep the bike up and keep the momentum of the bike going forward. Wout van Aert with the Belgian champions helmet on there, wearing the World Cup leader though. As Tom Mayusen looks to shoulder that bike and sprints his way up the climb. Van der Poel is coming to the end of another lap. So coming to the conclusion of this next lap. And with 4 laps to go, 33 minutes, 24 seconds. And it was an 8:23 lap, 21.08 as an average speed. Really busy in that pit area. All the jet washers are out, looking after those machines. 25 seconds now, the advantage. But he's built the advantage and it looks like he's got everything under control. Tom Mayusen coming up to the line yet again. The rain may well be starting to fall again outside the window. Well, on a day that Tom Mayusen said this course is not for him, he could be putting himself in terms of everyone having a look at possible winners. Looking at him here, he could be a winner in the world. You just never know. Here we go, across the line. The time for Tom Mayusen on that lap. He's looking good. He's in third place, 54 seconds down on Mathieu van der Poel. Here's the next group, led by Sven Nys. Tom Merlier is in there, Lars van der Haar. So Van der Poel now has an advantage, 33 seconds on Wout van Aert, 54 on Tom Mayusen as he goes back out on the course. Lap time that time was 8:22. Still lapping a lot faster than any of the rest of the riders. And Van Aert there in second place, working hard now to try and open the advantage on the third place rider. Can he close up on Mathieu van der Poel at all? It's a massive ask. But in terms of lap times, the opening lap was an 8:11, the second lap was an 8:11, then he went to an 8:23 and then an 8:22. Wout van Aert's fastest lap has been 8:18 so far. In second place at this moment in time, and the second fastest lap as well. Third fastest lap has been Kevin Pauwels, 8:18.4, just 0.3 of a second slower than that of Wout van Aert. So a few questions on Twitter. Thank you for all your messages. Cameron Beard, is Kevin Pauwels the Estonian national champion? No, he's not. He is, Kevin Pauwels, definitely not Estonian. He's certainly Belgian, and if you missed the kit they had before, they've changed the kit. He's now sponsored by a company called Marlux, and therefore the entire team are now in that blue and white kit with the black shorts. Francis wants to know if Mathieu van der Poel's wearing a double chamois. I'll ask him. In time for the World Championships. Oh, well, Van Aert coming to a little bit of a standstill. Hello to Alma GP. Nice, thank you very much for watching. So the Alma GP of cyclocross. And a good question there from Super Rookie. Why is Wout in an all-white skin suit when he's the Belgian national champion? Well, he's the leader of the World Cup. Therefore, he needs to wear the World Cup leader's skin suit, which, appropriately enough for cyclocross, is all white. And there he is, right on cue, as we see him go out of the pits area. Up this climb then. Yeah, for British fans, I just will mention Tom Pidcock, who finished second in the junior race here earlier on today. There's a few British fans who would like me to mention that. An impressive performance by that young British rider. It was Jens Dekker who took the victory. Another good day for the Dutch riders. So let's run through a few nationalities for you as we look at Van der Poel, who is just riding away at the front. Does this tell us he'll just ride away in the World Championships? It's a different affair, it's a different course. Lars van der Haar is in 9th place. Corne van Kessel, another Dutch rider, in 13th at this moment. Michael Boros is 17th, the Czech Republic rider. Clement Venturini of France, you may remember him from a couple of rounds ago, who rode so well, is now in 20th place. Ian Field, 28th today at this moment in time. In the top 30, the Hargrove Cycles rider. Francis Moret of France, 31st. And further on down, Stephen Hyde of the United States of America, 35th place at the moment. Andreas Moser of Switzerland in 42nd. A quick mention to Gary Milburn of Australia, who's in 45th place at this moment. And Michael Vandenham of Canada in 48th place. So there we go, there's a few mentions. Yu Takenouchi of Japan in 60th place, and Frederick Harold Seth of Norway in 63rd. That's a few nations being mentioned. Hopefully that'll give you an idea of your favourite nation, your favourite rider. The mist and fog is now coming in, giving us an even more atmospheric picture as Mathieu van der Poel continues with his lone effort. Stealth-like, matching the fog. Here comes Wout van Aert in his white colours. So maybe he can just sneak through and catch Mathieu van der Poel without anyone noticing. 33 seconds is the advantage. Still not over. It's still possible. Van Aert looks to me like he is starting to ride an awful lot stronger than he did. Mathieu van der Poel is lying at this moment in time 5th place overall in the World Cup, 305 points. And here goes Van der Poel, really putting the motor on this time, isn't he? Look at as he goes up the climb, sprinting hard. Laurens Sweeck, look at the speed of Mathieu van der Poel, so impressive. 3 laps of racing to go as he crosses the line. An 8:24 lap that time. No, Wout van Aert is not a long way behind right now. So Van der Poel's got to keep the pressure on. Wout van Aert about to cross the line with 3 laps of racing to go. Giving it as much as he possibly can up to the top of the rise. And as he crosses the line this time, he is now 46 seconds down. Behind them then, the previous winner of the World Cup is Kevin Pauwels, who's leading that little group. There he is. Behind him in the red and white, Laurens Sweeck. And Tom Meusen, who told me this course isn't to his suiting at all, is riding one of the best races we've seen for a little while in the World Cup. Great performance by him. There's Sven Nys coming to a standstill through the little bit of gloop that he's trying to get through. Oh, I didn't see him do that. Over the handlebars by Sven. You don't see Sven Nys do that very often. In fact, I don't remember him ever doing it. So Sven's recovered on his wheel then. Number 14, Michael Vantoren out. 3 laps of racing to go. There goes Lars van der Haar underneath the gantry. 7th place for van der Haar at the moment, 155 down. He's not had the best of seasons, Lars. After his initial scurry at the beginning, he won in Valkenburg. But I guess he's had 2 podiums, but I know Lars loves to win bike races and he would dearly love to be on the podium every single time.
Zonder moeite lijkt hij zijn voorsprong verder uit te gaan bouwen. Mathieu van der Poel inmiddels 47 seconden op de man op de tweede plaats, Wout van Aert.
Just to update you then in terms of the standings, Mathieu van der Poel leads. Wout van Aert is second place, 46 seconds down. Kevin Pauwels at 1:11, Laurens Sweeck at 1:12. Tom Meusen 1:12, Toenaerts at 1:26, Lars van der Haar at 1:55, Tim Merlier 1:59, Vermeersch at 1:59 and Klaas van Tonnut at 1:59. Sven Nys now 2 minutes and 2 seconds down on the leader. Few more questions then. Gary's asked me about the course. It looks like a building site. This field is actually totally maintained for this cyclocross. The local committee of watchers, a fantastic group of people that I've been lucky enough to know now for the last few years. They keep this totally maintained. They rent it from the farmer and they can do what they want to it. So they've added the steps and everything else. So it's pretty much purpose-built now for cyclocross. Tom Meusen goes through the picture. Ian Field maintains his position in 28th place right now for Great Britain. There is Kevin Powles. Crowd really urging them on. If you come over here to Hoggeide, you will be able to, there's a huge kind of tent of music and beers and everything. You can just hear the music right across the entire area of this cyclocross. As Van Aert has a bike change. Hello to Gabby Duran. Thank you very much for watching. Jeremy, the last time I looked, was running about 65th or something like that. But I'll get an update if I can as soon as he appears on the leaderboards. Gabby Duran, a very talented cyclocross rider indeed, who retired this year. Van der Poel continues with his onslaught to the front of this race. He's putting everybody else way, way behind. Well, when he was chatting to me beforehand, he said, I've done 3 massive training days this week. I really don't know how my legs are going to be. What's going to happen when that training comes out of those legs and he feels even better next weekend? Sharon, why are there so many stayers in this bike race? It's all about testing the riders out, giving them all the obstacles possible. An update on the German riders, those of you who are asking as well about the German top place German. There's Marcel Miesen in 14th place, 2:20 down this moment. Further on down the field, the next German rider would be Sascha Weber in 39th place. Philip Valsleben hasn't finished. Neither has Julian Tara Marquardt, which is a disappointment for that rider. He's been very strong this season in the World Cups. Drew, what happened to the course from last year? Yeah, a lot of changes to this course. The addition of the steps, and it's basically, I think, because you can now watch an awful lot more of the cross from your vantage point, particularly on the finish line. You can look right out over a lot of the course. So really, it's giving you, the course changes are giving us a little bit more technicalities, but also it's giving the fans, of which there are a lot of fans here, the ability to see the riders for longer, which of course is a very good thing. So Drew, thanks very much, Drew Dillman, for your question. La Fiamma Rossa. Hello to all of you. Back up onto the uphill section for Mathieu van der Poel. 50 minutes of racing, 2 laps to go. An 8:28 lap that time, so slowing down a little bit. He's got plenty of time in hand over the rest of the field. So, Wout van Aert, what's he got to do now to try and get himself onto the same form as Mathieu van der Poel, because in some of the super prestige style races and the BPOS series, this rider has been the dominant force, but when it comes to the World Cups, it is without doubt Van der Poel who is the dominant rider in cyclocross. Van Aert goes across the line this time. 53 seconds down, he's lost another 7 seconds, and Pauwels now is starting to make a little bit of a move. Pauwels crosses the line in 3rd place, 1:05 down. So Pauwels starting to come back a little bit. The next place rider is Laurens Sweeck. Not long then until we see the conclusion of this race and we find out who wins the World Cup. It looks like it's going to this man, Wout van Aert in the white. Lars van der Haar crosses the line. 7th place for him, 2:13 down for Lars van der Haar. There is Sven Nys on the luminous bike. So these riders riding very, very low pressure today. Be able to feel the rim through the tyre. They're so low, so they can get a little bit of traction. Van der Poel using every single little bit of technique he can to keep the momentum going forward. Only 14 riders have crossed the line so far at the end of this lap. 2:47 down is Dieter Sweeck in 14th place. Corne van Kessel 15th and 3:01. But Van der Poel absolutely head and shoulders above every single rider in this field right now. Up onto this next little rise. Interesting to see the riders who've figured so far in the top places. And the standings right now in the World Cup. Van Aert leads, Lars van der Haar in 2nd, Kevin Pauwels in 3rd, Sven Nys in 4th, and Van der Poel in 5th place. But so far, 1 win and 2 third places to Lars, 3 wins and 1 third place to Mathieu van der Poel, 1 win and 4 seconds to Van Aert, and 1 second, 1 third to Kevin Pauwels. Of course, we saw Sven Nys on the podium again this season, which he was very pleased about. He was 2nd in Vegas and he was 3rd in Valkenburg. Extremely pleased as he comes to the end of his career to actually figure in the major World Cup podiums. There's been many, many riders who haven't figured so far this season. The other rider to figure on the podium has been Kevin Pauwels, and Van Turenhout also, of course, in Vegas took 3rd place. What a magnificent race that is, Cross Vegas. The addition, really, to the calendar this year with Lignières-en-Berry, and I think we'll all look forward to Vegas for the World Cup when it comes back at the end of this year. So as we look down on Wout van Aert as he goes round this tree area. Kevin Pauwels is making a big move now to try and come back to get second place on the podium. So Van Aert is not out of difficulty yet. Pauwels is a rider who takes a little bit of time to get going, but when he does, he really starts to close up on the leader. Van der Poel still so strong though. A procession at the front of this race. Looking supreme, Mathieu van der Poel. Tom Meeusen, 5th place at this moment in time. He'll be pretty pleased with that. As we see Van der Poel go on to this slidey little section, completely off camber. We've got that little track that has been worn along the middle of that area. And he's just letting the bike slide its way through, keeping it on track where it needs to be. Kevin Pauwels, look at this. He is coming back to Wout van Aert, and he's doing it very quickly now. Van der Poel hits the stairs, 42 of them to run up. Just picking the little way up there, gets onto the top, and then it's really quite hard. A massive crowd now in the finishing area, looking to bring this race to its conclusion. This time round, the world champion, Mathieu van der Poel, will get the bell as the lone leader. Pauwels just going left and right, trying to let the bike do the work. Doesn't want to right it at all, otherwise he'll crash as he trying to find a way to come back to the wheel of this man. So Van Aert hits the stairs. Kevin Pauwels just a few steps behind him now. You can see those legs are hurting as Van der Poel emerges back onto the finishing straight, and he's coming up to 1 hour of racing. Just got that urgent style now as he kicks on and he crosses the line with 1 lap of racing to go. 8:30 was the last lap time. He's gone 8:11, 8:11, 8:23, then an 8:22, an 8:24, 8:28, 8:30. But he's got so much daylight between him and the rest of the field, he doesn't seem to be having to worry. And there is Wout van Aert making his way up. Sorry, Steve, yeah, I meant to mention this Sven winning, of course, in Koksijde, and I got waylaid looking at something else. I was going to come back to that, his 50th career win, and I spoke to him after that, and he was so ecstatic about winning. Last lap then, and the gap is 58 seconds now to Van Aert, and it's 1:04 to Kevin Pauwels. Well, next week, when we get to the World Championships, I'm sure it's going to be an emotional moment for Sven Nys, as he says he's retiring at the end of the season, turning his attention, of course, to looking after the new things that he will do. He's involved in the Telenet Fidea team. He's going to help nurture riders and bring them through to be top riders in the world. He has been a great ambassador for this sport. And I think, yeah, next week, let's see, can Sven get himself back onto the podium in the World Championships? He's won a World Cup this year. He's been on top form. He's been in Valkenburg behind Van der Haar and Van Aert, the winner in third place there in the winner in Koksijde, and of course we've seen him in various tussles, and Zolder is a course that can suit Sven Nys, so we'll see whether it's possible. Van der Haar then, last lap for him in the blue as a European champion, 2:14 down in 7th place. Thank you to all of you for joining me for this live coverage this afternoon. For all of those of you who have messaged me and asked questions, thank you very much. I'm sorry I haven't been able to answer some of them.
Laatste ronde van Michael van Toerbenhout en voor Tim Merlier. Dus allemaal wat ruim. Laatste ronde gaat de Toertje met
And with 1 lap to go, there goes Sven Nys in his final World Cup. So a few updates on nationalities and where they are right now, where they're riding. The first Czech Republic rider is Michael Boros in 16th place. Simon Zana, 25th. Ian Field of Hargrove Cycles for Great Britain in 27th. Francis Moret of France is in 28th. Jeremy Powers in 31st. Stephen Hyde in 32nd. First Australian rider is Chris Jongevoort in 39th. Good performance there in 39th place. Running, see how that continues. And that's the update on the various nationalities right now. We'll see whether I can find you any more information once everyone has managed to cross the line at the end of this lap. A replay here of Kevin Powles. Oh, had a little bit of a slide, had to stop and gets himself going again. Thanks, Bjorn, for your message. Yeah, I tried to update on Frederick for you so that you know where Frederick was running. Van der Poel then, fast downhill, down towards this tree where he'll scoot round the corner, pick the bike up. He's got it so nailed, hasn't he? He's always a very courteous bike rider, is Mathieu van der Poel. He came up to me today to say hello. Shook hands and forgot how muddy his hands were, but there you go. I guess he's world champion mud. But he'll spend the time, he'll tell you exactly how he is, he'll tell you how he's feeling and what he's been doing. He's not a rider to shun away from talking about exactly what cyclocross involves. Just look at the way those eyes are going all the time, the way he's looking for where the next little rut might be or the next little problem. Wout van Aert slinging that bike round the corner, just trying to get any little bit of advantage he can on Kevin Powles there in the blue and white in the background. Wout van Aert downhill now. Kevin Powles may well be seeing his challenge of second place disappearing. Mathieu van der Poel just looks so comfortable, doesn't he? I mean, we are flat out on this race. It's a test of everything. It's a test of your running ability, your riding ability, your sprinting, your ability to recover, and yet he still looks so easy. Not long then until the world champion comes round the corner to win yet again. He's won the last 3 rounds of the World Cup. And now he's making away along this slidey little section. Just a nice, easy cadence, picking a gear that he can just keep pedaling over. As we track alongside him now. Laurens Sweeck is riding into 4th place right now. Good questions from Alma GP. Kevin Powles, will it move him up in the standings? It depends totally on where Lars van der Haar finishes. And Kevin Powles, who is lying in 3rd place right now. By my calculations, the way things are, I think he will stay in 4th place. 3rd place, sorry, and Lars van der Haar would stay in his 3rd place overall. But I'm not entirely sure. We'll just double check. In fact, it could be that Van der Poel will actually leapfrog Kevin Powles. Let's see how things finishes, and Powles might end up dropping down the rankings. Into the finishing straight for the world champion, 1 week from the World Championships in Oosterschelde next weekend. He is riding his way into yet another World Cup victory. This man is right on top of his game. He wins the World Cup here in Oosterheide on his local course. Mathieu van der Poel, 4 wins out of 4. Wout van Aert then comes round the corner. The World Cup leader is going to pick up 70 points here. Van der Poel, of course, had a very, very late start to the season because of that knee injury. So Van der Poel should stay behind Kevin Powles in terms of the overall standing, actually, if we work it out. But Wout van Aert races to the line, crosses the line now, and he will be the winner of the World Cup. Kevin Powles, another great ride by him into 3rd place, blinking his way through the mud. The World Cup winner of last year, another strong performance. Laurens Sweeck then, he's been promising this for a little while. He's heading up now towards the conclusion of this race, and he is going to put himself in 4th place today. Van der Poel wins by 48 seconds from Wout van Aert and 59 from Kevin Powles. Laurens Sweeck happy with his 4th place, and he'll finish 130 down. Tom Meusen almost at the top of the hill. He's going to finish in 5th place today. So for a man who doesn't like this course, that might tell you something about the World Championships as well. Oops. A big problem there. Oh, an emotional Teunaerts. I'm sorry, I don't know about the translation of emotion there. I'm sure someone will fill me in on that, as Lars van der Haar finishes in 7th place. I didn't get the chance to talk to Teunaerts before the start, as we see the next rider coming up to the line. This is Gianni Vermeersch. And Vermeersch, of course, led the race earlier on. This is a very, very long race. 1 hour, 7 minutes for today's World Cup cyclocross. And the more riders crossing the line now. Sven Nys, his final World Cup. He took his 50th win this year. He finishes now 13th, 320 down, and he'll look ahead to Zolder next weekend. And Michael Owens, surely you know what mud is. Here we go, the winner of today's World Cup. Was it ever in doubt? The world champion has come back from injury to dominate this season. He doesn't win the World Cup because of those missed rounds. But there is no doubt he is the big favourite for the World Championships in 1 week's time. I'll be with Simon Burney. I hope you'll join us as we bring you all the medals over a fantastic couple of days of racing. So let's take a look back at how today was won. The riders on the start line, the cavalry charge off. Van der Poel and Van Aert leaning on each other right at the start, almost put Jeremy Powers in the barriers. But it didn't take long until we saw the rainbow bands of the world champion go to the front. Gianni Vermeersch was the initial leader, but once Van der Poel got to the front, there was no holding him back. This was the move. And then on the steps, he was just very strong indeed, sprinting his way up those stairs. Wout van Aert making a few little mistakes along the way, but that's just purely because he was going flat out. And Laurens Sweeck with a great performance today in fourth place, tracking well all the time. Up front though, the technical ability and the power of Mathieu van der Poel was something to behold today as he raced away from the rest of the field. Tom Meusen might have signalled that he is in with a chance of a medal in the World Championships. Kevin Powles, he made a big move towards the end of the race, starting to close in on second place at this point. A lonely second place for Wout van Aert today. An absolutely massive crowd is waiting for the podium for this man, Mathieu van der Poel. Wout van Aert, the winner of the World Cup, in second, and Kevin Powles in third place. Here's the result. Mathieu van der Poel wins in 1 hour, 7 minutes, 31. 48 seconds down was Wout van Aert. Kevin Powles in third, Laurens Sweeck 1:30 down in fourth, Tom Meusen in fifth, and Toenaerts in sixth place. Lars van der Haar finishes in seventh. Here's the rundown of the top 20, with Radomir Simonek in 19th place, the first Czech Republic rider. Ian Field of Great Britain finishes in 27th. The first Swiss rider, Simon Zahner, in 24th. Francis Moret, a former winner of a World Cup round, in 28th place today. So everyone wandering their way in to cheer on the podium winners. Cyclocross is extremely popular over here. If you've never been, put it in your diary. Try and come next season. The World Cup standings then, after 7 rounds of racing. Wout van Aert wins 4.76. Lars van der Haar in second, 4.33. And Kevin Pauwels in third place. Sven Nys finishes in fourth. Mathieu van der Poel finishes in fifth place. A great performance by him considering he missed 2 rounds. Congratulations between these two.
Need help?
Here's Mathieu van der Poel in first place, Wout van Aert in second, and Kevin Pauwels in third place in his colours of his new team with a new sponsor. Don't slip. It's a little muddy out there. Well, we're getting ready, of course, to hear from the winner of today's race and bring you the podium. Don't go away, but do make sure that you think about how you're going to join us for the World Championships next weekend. Well, as everyone makes their way towards the podium through the mud, let's go and hear now from a man who is right on the top of his game. He was the winner today. We'll hear now from Mathieu van der Poel.
Mathieu van der Poel, many congratulations. Your 4th win in a row in the World Cup. I was at the finish line and you didn't seem to be tired.
But I was. It was a very difficult race today, very tough. But I'm happy because, like some other riders, I did a very intensive training week, and I'm satisfied with the recovery I did until now.
You made yourself the only top favorite for next week.
Yeah, the only I wouldn't say, because this is something entirely different in comparison with next week. But I think next week is a course that suits me very well, and I'm happy because, yeah, like I said, I did a trainings week, and next week I want to take some rest, and then I want to go for the super compensation to pronounce my title.
Je zei daarnet, dit is niet echt mijn geliefkoosd parcours. Volgende week ligt dat jou eigenlijk nog beter, dat parcours van het WK. Dan was dit zeer, zeer indrukwekkend, hè, Mathieu?
Ja, nee, het is niet echt iets wat me op mijn lijf geschreven is. Maar als ik in goede doen ben, dan moet ik alles aan kunnen. Daarvoor ben ik ook crosser geworden natuurlijk. En ik ben heel blij dat ik die trainingsweek die ik achter de rug heb, die toch wel heel lastig was, al zo goed heb verteerd. Vorig jaar had ik hier echt een superdag. En die had ik vandaag niet. En dan hoop ik die volgende week te hebben.
Ja, alle druk komt nu bij jou terecht, maar je lijkt daar zo rustig mee om te gaan. Ongelooflijk.
Ja, dat was vorig jaar ook al zo. Ik zei het, ik ga heel tevreden naar huis. Ik ga met een goed gevoel slapen. Ik begin er liever zo aan dan dat ik hier op achterstand werd gereden.
Okay, prima. Verzorg jij. Nog eens proficiat.
Van der Poel then. A big training block, that's what he told me before the start. And now he wants to super compensate so he can get back at the weekend and retain the rainbow bands. The last rider to retain the rainbow bands was Zdeněk Štýbar. He won, of course, in Tabor in 2010. And he took them back again in Germany, in St. Wendel, in 2011. And the mechanics still busy, and they will be for a little while. Well, it's these guys who make sure these top athletes are able to be on the top of their game. They work extremely hard on keeping these bikes in tip-top condition and making sure they run as slickly as possible. There's a difference between winning and losing sometimes. And all the riders will tell you, without someone as good as their mechanic in their pit, then sometimes they wouldn't even get close to winning. I was listening to Nikki Harris. She was talking to her mechanic and they were just running through. Are the cables exactly right? Is there anything, any little problem here or there? Or is that going to cause an issue? And literally they just go through every single little thing to make sure that the bike is absolutely set up perfectly. We're ready then for the podium presentation as these riders make their way out onto the stage.
De prijstrekking van de grote prijs Adrie van der Poel 2016 bij de elite mannen. Op de derde plaats geëindigd Kevin Pauwels.
A very popular Kevin Pauwels comes out onto the stage. He takes third place here in Hoogheide. Van Aert in second place.
Hoogheide, Mathieu van der Poel.
Mathieu van der Poel, the winner here,
Dat zijn de nummers 3, 2 en 1. En uiteraard hebben we
sets himself up
deze mannen
perfectly
de
for
mooie
the
bloemen.
Worlds.
En de bloemen krijgen ze overhandigd en dat doen we samen met de heer Ed Vreeman, de directievoorzitter of directieman moet ik zeggen van de Rabobank Zuidoost-Brabant, en de heer Swinkels, gedeputeerde sport en leefbaarheid van de provincie Noord-Brabant. We beginnen met de bloemenrit voor de man op de derde plaats. De felicitaties en de bloemen gaan naar Kevin Pauwels.
Pauwels then awarded with third place.
Van JNF Mode van de derde plaats gaan we dan ook uiteraard de bloemen brengen aan Wout van Aert.
Wout van Aert,
En zeker is ook de bijbehorende zoenen. Het mooiste boeket
Belgian
krijgt
champions
de man
colours.
De winnaar hier in de Hoogheide, Mathieu van der Poel.
these riders being very careful, of course, to wrap up warm and make sure they don't get sick before next weekend.
Dat betekent dat hier dus de top 3 staat en dat wij samen met u gaan luisteren naar het Wilhelmus. Uw applaus voor Kevin Pauwels, Wout van Aert en Mathieu van der Poel. En dan krijgen uiteraard ook de felicitaties. En die worden overgebracht namens de provincie Noord-Brabant door de heer Swinkels, gedeputeerde sport en leefbaarheid. En ook namens de heer Ed Vreeman, directielid van de
through the
Rabobank
mist
Zuidwest-Brabant.
here in Hoogheide, we can enjoy a colourful presentation of these top 3 athletes in today's race.
Swinkels doet samen met de heer Ed Vreeman die prijs overhandigen aan de winnaar Mathieu van der Poel. Hier nogmaals uw applaus voor de nummers 3, 2 en 1. Kevin Pauwels, Wout van Aert en Mathieu van der Poel.
A few gifts there for Van der Poel.
De nummers 3, 2 en 1 hier in Hoogheide worden gefotografeerd met hun podiumplaatsen. En natuurlijk,
And of course we'll present the World Cup winner today.
Bij de elite mannen hier na de grote prijs Adrie van der Poel. Dat betekent dat deze mannen een stapje naar de coulissen gaan doen. Want wij gaan het podium vrijmaken voor een man die vandaag hier in Hogerheide zijn laatste wereldbekerwedstrijd heeft gereden. Stond hier 16 maal aan het vertrek. De man van verschillende titels, 2 keer de mondiale titel en de nodige Belgische titels, de diverse klassementen. Was ook 3 keer de winnaar hier in Hogerheide, hier op de Brabantse Wal. Laat het horen voor Sven Nys!
Well, before we present the World Cup winner, a special presentation to this man we've been talking about today. He won his 50th World Cup round this season. This is his final World Cup, and so many people in this crowd and across the world have enjoyed watching this fantastic cyclocross rider throughout his career. So a special presentation to commemorate just what he has achieved.
Van deze grote prijs, Adrie van der Poel. Een dikke proficiat en een chapeau aan de afscheidnemende Sven Nys. Nog de reiswijze gaan. Het eindklassement van de wereldbeker veldrijden bij de elite mannen. Daar is geëindigd op de 3e plaats. Pauwels. De 2e plaats in het eindklassement, Lars van der Haar.
As we now look at the podium presentation of the top 3 in the World Cup. Kevin Pauwels in 3rd place. Lars van der Haar will take 2nd place, the European champion. And the winner is Wout van Aert, the Belgian champion, now the World Cup winner.
De grote prijs Adrie van der Poel. De witte trui gaat daar om de schouders. Even over de 3-kleur van België. Bij de Belgische
Pauwels the winner last year. Van der Haar the winner in 2013. So still figuring up there on the podium.
Uiteraard zijn er ook de felicitaties voor Kevin Pauwels en voor Lars van der Haar. Dan hebben we ook bloemen. En bij de bloemen uiteraard ook de warme zoenen van onze rondemis Brit namens J&F Mode. En die beginnen met de bloemen en de felicitaties uiteraard voor
They look a little bit cold on that podium this afternoon, don't they? It's very, very cold now.
Felicitaties en de bloemen voor de man hier in het blauw, de Europees kampioen Lars van der Haar.
7 rounds of racing then. The winners of the rounds, Van Aert, Lars van der Haar, Sven Nys. And 4 rounds won by Mathieu van der Poel.
Dan hebben we ook nog een bijbehorende trofee. En die krijgen de heren overhandigd. De trofee voor de 3e plaats. Dat betekent voor Kevin Pauwels. De heer Ed Vreeman, directielid van de Rabobank Zuidwest-Brabant, heeft deze trofee voor Pauwels. We hebben ook een mooie beker voor Lars van der Haar. Die krijgt ook overhandigd door de heer Swinkels, de gedeputeerde sport en leefbaarheid van de provincie Noord-Brabant. Allebei de warme sponsoren van deze grote prijs, Adrie van der Poel. En uiteraard ook nog de grootste beker.
Well, there's our podium at the end of a great season of racing. Fantastic action all the way through. Thank you to all of you who've joined us for all the rounds of racing. It's been a great journey, starting in Vegas and finishing in Hogerheide. Many congratulations then to Wout van Aert as he wins his first World Cup, succeeding Kevin Pauwels there on his right-hand side and the previous winner, Lars van der Haar too. Thank you to all of you for joining us for some great racing. We look forward to bringing you the World Championships in 1 week's time. From here in Hogerheide, from me, Anthony McCrossan, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye for now.